Hi guys, welcome back to Ramsey Blade Works. I decided to do this little video, probably as much for me as anything, but I'm going to share it with these guys. Progression as a knife maker. So, what I've done is I went and got this out of storage, as you can see. And the knives in here, some of these are knives that I've bought over the years or whatever, but most of my early knives are in this box. And I was kind of getting tickled at myself when I was looking at it a minute ago, so I'm going to show it to you. So we'll go through this in a second. So what do you get with a handcrafted custom, semi-custom knife? What are the benefits of a handcrafted knife over a production, and even worse than that, production knife made outside the United States? Everything. My opinion alone. The materials are usually better quality. The fit and finish a lot of times are going to be on par or exceed what you can get. Mainly the materials and the attention to what's done with those materials. I have hundreds of dollars probably in this box that I've bought over the years that just not kicking it, in my opinion. And I won't put any names on any of that, but for example, I have a hatchet. I paid probably $30–40 for that hatchet at a big box store, which will remain unnamed also. First time I used it, chipped the blade. And it's just because the metal's crap. It's just that simple. So I think with a handcrafted blade that's made, that maker has put his heart and soul, sometimes sweat and blood into, you just get a better quality product. And some people don't care. They'll go to a big box store and pay $20 or $30 for a knife, and they're perfectly happy with it. I've found most of them to be crap myself. I'm not a big fan at all. So let's look at some of my early stuff. I do not have the first knife I made. The first knife I made, actually, one of my buddies that used to be on SWAT with me actually has, and looking at it now, I'm like, it ain't pretty. But he was very proud of it because I made it, and it was the first one I made. And he still has that. So anyway, this one and my Kydex, oh my gosh, all of these knives are at least 10 years old. But this knife right here, as ugly as it is and as beat up as it is, I carried this for 3 years in the woods, bushcrafting. I have skinned game with it. I have made bow and drill sets with it. I have processed firewood with it. It's 1/8 inch 01 tool steel with a pretty ragged Scandi grind. But actually, I use this knife and a 4-in-1 file to produce a 6-foot hickory self bow that I've hunted with before. So as ugly as this thing is, and as ragged as it is, the pins are not good. Nothing's good on this thing. I have beat the crap out of it, and it's 1/8 of an inch. And maybe we'll talk about that later too, but it's differentially heat treated. And anyway, I carried this thing for years. She's functional, but not very pretty. Here's another one I carried for a while. It's a leather wrapped handle, differentially heat treated 1/8 inch 01 tool steel. I don't know if you can see the temper line on it or not, but I carried that one for a while too. Another one that I did maybe 2006, maybe something like that. Now this is a chisel ground Tanto with green, I'm going to say that's green canvas micarta, chisel ground. I don't know how well you can see these things in the light, guys, but ain't none of them pretty. And this is a little neck knife I carried, and I'm probably going to redo something like this. It's chisel ground. It's just plain metal, 1/8 inch 01 tool steel, differentially heat treated, acid etched, but it was just a little backup defense knife. And I may do something again with this design. It's actually a pretty cool little design. Kydex. Terrible. Now, I say that and show you all that, and I hope you can see them in this light, because I know this is not the best lit part of the shop. This is, up until now, this is, I think I've put a few pictures of this knife. This is my EDC knife. It's a Raven, is what I'm going to call it. Raven model. It's got a black and green G10 scalloped handle. It's 01, 1/8 inch 01 tool steel, flat ground, little secondary edge. This knife right here has ended up being, I've carried this thing for 2 months now, every day around my neck, every day. And I've used it for all kind of stuff in the shop and everything else, and this has ended up being one of my favorite knives I've ever made. And I'm planning on offering that as an option. I hope you guys can see that. It's acid etched. This is another prototype I've worked on. This is the last knife that I made. It's 1/8 inch 01 tool steel, flat ground. It's got black and coyote brown G10 handles. This one has 3 30-second pins and a lanyard. Probably going to do something different with those pins, but it's acid etched, and I believe you can see the temper line on it. So you go from, I know this is not the first one, but it's an early model. You go from that to something sexy like that, and the grinds, everything about it's better. Sharp. Sharp. I try to get all of my knives just as sharp as I can. Alright, so what I wanted to show you, and I've said this for years, because you've seen ugly knives, you've seen some pretty sexy knives. I've always said that it's not hard to make a sharp knife. It's hard to make a sharp knife that's pretty. And as my finishing techniques get better and better, they're more aesthetically pleasing. But to me, that's the hardest part of the whole thing. It's not hard to make a sharp knife. And I'll show you this. Let me put this back in the sheath. This is a R1 blank that you can see. It's probably backwards in the camera, but it says bent. Differentially heat treated, but when I took it out of the forge and went to quench it, I dropped it and bent the tip, and it has a little bit of a bow in it. I straightened it some, but I can't, knowing that I dropped it, knowing that I bent it, I can't sell that knife or give that knife to somebody because it has my name on it. So I've had this thing in the shop for 2-3 years now, I think. 3, I believe. It was completely rusted until just a minute ago, and I knocked the rust off. I did a quick 120 grit bevel, and as you can see, it's not even flat. See the rust that's still on there? And then did a quick edge and stropped it, but I do that to prove a point. It's razor freaking sharp. Let's do a little bitty, see if we can do some little fine ones, little curly cues. There you go, boys. So, my point is, it doesn't have to be pretty to be a knife. Alright, sorry about that, guys. My battery died. So anyway, I'm going to be doing some more videos to kind of show y'all what I'm doing here, and we'll do some different videos on sharpening or stropping or maybe some grinding. We'll see. But anyway, I appreciate everyone's support. If you would go to my website, it's RamseyBladeWorks.com, and from there you can link to my Facebook page, to YouTube, to Instagram, and please like and share and all of that. And anyway, I just want to show you my progression as a knife maker. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you on the next one.